Hi. Welcome to three people who inspired me lately. Really, I try to keep it to who's inspired me in the last 24 hours. It's a new segment I'm enjoying doing, both to help me remember what inspires me and who inspires me, and hopefully to encourage you to think about what inspires you, who inspires you, and why. So my three people that have inspired me in the last 24 hours, I got mulberry stains on my hands. One of my favorite things. My friend Spirit, I call her my sister friend. She's like a sister to me. I've known her since we were kids. And I'm going to tell you three ways that each of these three people inspired me in the last 24 hours. It's going to be Spirit, my friend Kirk of Kirk's Garage Band, KGB, a group that I play with, and Kevin Spacy from an interview that I saw. I didn't even see the whole interview, but I was watching him on the Lex Friedman podcast. And let me start with him and run backwards. Three things that inspired me about Kevin Spacy was one, his willingness to get back up after being knocked down. I think this is a thing that inspires many of us commonly, because we all get knocked down from various ways, and I haven't even heard all the details. I don't really keep up on the public gossip, but apparently during the Me Too movement, something got said or brought to light that knocked Kevin Spacy down for a while, and he's back out there doing some interviews, and one of those that I happened to see some of was on Lex Friedman. And just his willingness to get back up was number one thing that inspired me about Kevin Spacy. Number two thing was his voices, his, what do you call that? Impersonations of other people. He's really got a talent for that I wasn't fully aware of. Of course, it makes sense because he's a very good actor. And number three was him talking about the difference between acting and performance, which wasn't something that he brought to the table. It was something that Lex Friedman brought to the table of the conversation because of something else that he'd heard from someone else, or hearing that from someone else with regard to Kevin Spacy being both a good performer and a good actor. And yeah, I just, that is related to something that inspires me frequently with so many humans, which is really stepping fully into our uniqueness, who we are as unique individuals, because we all are different and we all have this unique conglomeration of what we are. And when we step more fully into that and bring it to the table of the conversation or the show or whatever it is we're doing, I find that inspiring. I think that's what this life is all about to me. So there's three things that inspired me about Kevin Spacy: his willingness to get back up after being knocked down, his just sheer talent for impersonations, and then his willingness or gusto with which he steps fully into who he is as an actor and a performer. Second person that I mentioned that inspired me in the last 24 hours, and has many times, is my friend Kirk. Kirk is the drummer in a garage band that I play in called KGB, Kirk's Garage Band, and he is the glue that holds us all together. He's the reason we come together, and he's also the one that parties the hardest. I used to keep up with him, and now and then we reminisce about how, and sort of sometimes lament that I no longer keep up with him on the party faction. But he's about 10 years older than me, and he's still going strong. Now, I don't know how long it'll be till he drops dead. And I've thought that for a while now. But so far, he pretty much out-parties all of us, and it is inspiring in its way. His enthusiasm, as he likes to call it, but also his constitution. Yeah, let's call it both of those things, but also so that's number one, his enthusiastic constitution, we'll call it. Number two is that glue faction that I was talking about, the way that he puts in the effort to bring people together, including our band, We all just met in the mountains and played a show at a campground, which we've been dreaming about for a couple years. And he's able to make things happen by using that constitution and enthusiasm and making the phone calls, setting the date, you know, making things happen. So I find that inspiring. And third thing I find inspiring about Kirk is it's sort of all entangled together, but his fallibility. I don't know how to. That's on the same side of the stick, or it's different side of the same stick, which is with his enthusiasm and constitution. He has this fallibility, this flawed quality. Of course, we all do, but he's willing to, like, he doesn't try to hide it from you so much, or if he's trying, he's not doing a very good job. No, I'm just harassing him in case he ever sees this, which he probably won't. But if he ever does, hey, Kirk, just giving you a hard time. And also admiring the contrast, or the compilation, the totality. It's not really just the contrast. It's how he brings all of himself to the table, which is, again, related to that constitution and enthusiasm. But I'm putting that in its own little category, fallibility, and his willingness to be imperfect and still be enthusiastic and bring people together and have a good time. I find that inspiring because, again, we all have that, but I think a lot of times we miss out on living life more fully because we're afraid that someone will see that in us. And when you get over that and you're just willing to be you in front of people, warts and all, as they say, flaws and amazing talents and all, it inspires the rest of us to be more of who we are as well. So thanks, Kirk. And last but not least, and first on the list as I was coming in, is my sister friend, dear friend Spirit, who, as I mentioned, I've known since we were teenagers. Watched her have both her kids. I've got a bug bite from camping that's bugging me. She has an amazing constitution, and that is inspiring, but it's really her grace. She has a capacity to hold space for other people, to like she always feeds me and feeds other people. She's got this great hostess capacity. Even when she's not being the hostess, she tends to bring that to the table, to the party, and make people feel at ease, do what needs to be done. Yeah, she's a shower-upper and a goer, and I really am inspired by that in her. And I'm also inspired by her beauty. So her hostess with the most capacity, her willingness to show up and go, and her just sheer beauty. She really is a beautiful human being, and she embodies that Aphrodite quality so beautifully in her body and in her spirit and in her actions and words. She really is a beautiful, beautiful being. So those are three things about Spirit that's inspired me, three things about three people who've inspired me in the last 24 hours. This is a segment that I've just started doing recently to help me remember what's inspiring me and express that to other people, so that I'm not just letting those fleeting thoughts go by. And I really hope to encourage you to do the same. So if you would like to, put in the comments who's inspired you today or yesterday or this week, and start to practice that, thinking about, oh, that inspires me. Sometimes it's an inspiration like, oh, I want to be more like that. And sometimes it's an inspiration of like, oh, that's not me, but I'm really inspired that it's in someone else. So I think it's all good. I thank you for stopping by. I thank you for being you and letting me be me. I hope you will like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Ciao for now. Peace.